The Ksitigarbha, Bodhisattvas, Fundamental Vows, Sutra. Chapter 1. The Divine Powers in the Heavenly Realm of the Triastrema Heaven. 1. The Buddha displays his divine powers. Thus I have heard once upon a time, in the Triastrema Heaven, the Buddha spoke the Dharma for his mother. At that time, it was beyond description, all the Buddhas and great Bodhisattvas in countless worlds, in the 10 directions gathered together. Then all praise, saying, the Buddha Kyamuni, even in this world of the 5 turbidities, can manifest the great wisdom and divine powers that are beyond conception, to tame sentient beings with stubborn minds, causing them to understand the Dharma of suffering and the Dharma of joy. After praising, the Buddhas sent their attendants to respectfully visit the Blessed One. At that time, the Tathagata smiled and emitted hundreds of thousands of radiant clouds. These clouds were the radiant cloud of completeness, the radiant cloud of great compassion, the radiant cloud of great wisdom, the radiant cloud of great prajna, the radiant cloud of great samdhi, the radiant cloud of great auspiciousness, the radiant cloud of great merits, the radiant cloud of great virtues, the radiant cloud of great refuge, the radiant cloud of great praises. The Buddha emitted indescribable radiant clouds like these, and then emitted various wondrous sounds. These sounds were the sound of the practice of giving, the sound of the practice of precepts, the sound of the practice of patience, the sound of the practice of diligence, the sound of the lion's roar, the sound of the great lion's roar, the sound of the practice of meditation, the sound of the practice of prajna, the sound of compassion, the sound of joy, the sound of liberation, the sound of the transcendent, the sound of wisdom, the sound of thunderclouds, and the sound of great thunderclouds. An Chieu 2, the assembly of the gods, dragons. After the Buddha emitted indescribable and wondrous sounds like this, countless hundreds of thousands of gods, dragons, ghosts, and spirits from this world, Jambudvapa, and other worlds also gathered at the Triastrema Heaven. These included the gods of the 4 heavenly kings, the gods of Triastrema Heaven, the gods of Tushita, the gods of the 33, the gods of the Hamara, the gods of the self-transcendent, the gods of Brahma's consorts, the great Brahma gods, the gods of the lesser light, the gods of the incomparable light, the gods of light sound, the gods of lesser purity, the gods of infinite purity, the gods of transformation purity, the gods of happiness and birth, the gods of affectionate joy, the gods of great fruits, the gods of adornment strength, the gods of incomparable adornment strength, the gods of adornment strength fruit completion, the gods of non-thought, the gods of non-affliction, the gods of non-heat, the gods of good sight, the gods of good appearance, the gods of the pure realm of form, the gods of Maheshvara, and the gods of the realm of non-thought and non-thoughtful realm. All the divine beings, dragons, ghosts, and spirits gathered together. There were also gods from this world, Jambudvapa, and other worlds, such as the gods of the sea, gods of rivers, gods of streams, gods of trees, gods of mountains, gods of the earth, gods of marshy rivers, gods of seedlings, gods of the day, gods of the night, gods of space, gods of the sky, gods of food and drink, gods of plants and herbs. Such gods gathered together. There were also great demon kings from this world, Jambudvapa, and other worlds, such as the Evil Eye Demon King, the Blood-Drenched Demon King, the Vital Energy Demon King, the Embryonic Demon King, the Disease Action Demon King, the Poison Snare Demon King, the Compassionate Demon King, the Blessing Benefit Demon King, the Great Love Respect Demon King. Such demon kings gathered together. 3. The Buddha's proclamation. At that time, the Buddha Shakyamuni said to the Bodhisattva Maheshvara, the Dharma prince of the Bodhisattvas, "Do you see all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, gods, dragons, ghosts, and spirits from this world and other worlds, now gathering in this Triyastrimsha heaven? Do you know how many there are?" Venerable Manjushri said to the Buddha, "Revered Buddha, if I were to use my divine power to count, even in 1,000 eons, I would not be able to know the exact number." The Buddha said to Manjushri, "Even I, using the Buddha eye, cannot count them. The number of those who are holy and worldly is all due to Ksitigarbha. Bodhisattva, from the distant past until now, some are saved, some are in the process of being saved, and others have yet to be saved. Some have attained, some are in the process of attaining, and some have yet to attain." Venerable Manjushri said to the Buddha, "From the distant past, I have cultivated wholesome roots and attained unobstructed wisdom. Upon hearing the Buddha's words, I immediately believed. However, the listeners who are lesser disciples, gods, dragons, the 8 classes of beings, and other sentient beings in the future, although they hear the true words of the Tathagata, they are likely to harbor doubt. Even if they bow and obey, they may still slander. I humbly request the world-honored one to clarify the origin of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. What practices did he undertake? What vows did he make that led to the attainment of such immeasurable, inconceivable power?" The Buddha replied to Venerable Manjushri, saying, "Just as all the grass, trees, bushes, forests, grains, sesame, bamboo, reeds, rocks, mountains, and dust, in the 3,000 great thousand worlds, each item is counted as a Ganges river, and then each grain of sand in every Ganges river. So gi aidan. Chai gi and so. One grain of sand makes one world, and within one world, each tiny speck of dust represents one lifetime. And the number of specks of dust within one lifetime is counted as a lifetime. From the moment Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva attained the 10th stage, Bodhisattva level, until now, it has been 1,000 times longer than the number of lifetimes used in the above analogy, let alone the time when Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva was still in the positions of an Arhat and a Pratyeka Buddha. Venerable Manjushri, the power and vows of this Bodhisattva are beyond comprehension. In the future, if any good man or woman hears the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, praises it, admires it, bows to it, recites its name, offers offerings, or even paints, engraves, carves, or paints an image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, at that time, such a person will be reborn 100 times in the Triyastrimsha heaven and will never again fall into the evil paths. The vow of the elder son, Venerable Manjushri. A long time ago, countless eons in the past, in a previous life, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva was born as a young man of a wealthy family. At that time in the world, there was a Buddha named Lion Roar, strengthening complete virtue, 10,000 practices. Tathagata, the young man of the wealthy family, upon seeing the Buddha's appearance, adorned with 1,000 virtues and radiance, asked the Buddha, "What practices and vows have you undertaken to attain such a beautiful and noble form?" At that time, the Buddha, Lion Roar strengthening complete virtue, 10,000 practices, Tathagata, replied to the young man of the wealthy family, "In order to achieve this beautiful and noble form, one must endure a long period of time and liberate all sentient beings who are suffering and in distress." Venerable Manjushri, upon hearing this, the young man of the wealthy family immediately made a vow, saying, "From now on, for an incalculable number of eons in the future, I will teach various methods to liberate all sentient beings suffering in the 6 realms, and only after that will I myself attain Buddhahood." Saikaratari Inkolai Gendarde, because of the great vow he made before the Buddha, the Lion Roar, strengthening complete virtue, 10,000 practices, Tathagata, even after having passed through hundreds of thousands of eons beyond measure, he is still in the state of a bodhisattva.
5. The Brahmin girl who saved her mother. In an inconceivably vast number of eons ago, there was a Buddha named Flower of Enlightenment, Samadhi Sovereign King, thus come one. That Buddha lived for hundreds of thousands of millions of immeasurable eons. During the era of the semblance Dharma, there was a girl born into a Brahmin family. She had accumulated deep and vast blessings over many lifetimes and was respected by all. Whether she walked, stood, lay down, or sat, heavenly beings constantly followed and protected her. Her mother, however, was deeply attached to false beliefs and often showed disrespect toward the Triple Gem at that time. Although the Holy Maiden used skillful means and kind words to advise her mother, hoping to awaken in her right understanding, her mother still did not fully believe. Soon after, the mother passed away, and her spirit fell into the Avicii hell, the hell of uninterrupted suffering. At that time, the Holy Maiden realized that her mother, during her life, had not believed in the law of cause and effect. She knew with certainty that her mother had followed evil karma and must have been reborn into the lower realms. So the Holy Maiden sold her home and land and used the proceeds to purchase incense, flowers, and offerings. She then made generous offerings at temples and stupas dedicated to the Buddha, Flower of Enlightenment, Samadhi Sovereign King, in one particular temple. She saw an image of that Buddha, beautifully sculpted and painted, majestic and solemn in every detail. The Holy Maiden gazed upon the statue of the Buddha, and her heart was filled with reverence and devotion. She thought to herself, "The Buddha is the great enlightened one, complete in all wisdom. If the Buddha were still in the world, when my mother passed away, I could have come to ask him. Surely he would have known where my mother had been reborn." With this thought, the Holy Maiden was overwhelmed with sorrow. At that moment, the Holy Maiden felt deep sorrow. Tears streamed down her face. As she gazed longingly at the image of the Tathagata, suddenly, she heard a voice from the sky saying, "Weeping maiden, do not grieve so deeply. I shall now reveal to you the whereabouts of your mother." The Holy Maiden folded her palms, bowed toward the sky, and asked, "Which divine being is so compassionate as to relieve me of this sorrow in my heart? Ever since my mother passed away, I have grieved for her day and night, but I have nowhere to turn, no one to ask, to know where she was reborn. Then, from the sky, a voice again spoke to the holy maiden. I am the Buddha of the past, flower of enlightenment, Samadhi, sovereign king, thus come one, the very one whose image you now venerate. Seeing that your love and longing for your mother surpasses that of ordinary beings, I have come to guide you. Upon hearing those words, the holy maiden collapsed in a faint. Her hands, legs, and entire body were injured. Those around her rushed to lift her up. After a short while, she regained consciousness and spoke toward the sky. I beg the Buddha, please have compassion and quickly reveal where my mother has been reborn. My body and mind feel as if they are about to perish. The Buddha flower of enlightenment, Samadhi sovereign king, said to the holy maiden, once you have completed your offerings, quickly return home, sit upright, and focus your mind on my name. Then you will come to know the place where your mother has been reborn. After making her offerings, the holy maiden returned home out of deep longing for her mother. She sat upright and recited the name of the Buddha flower of enlightenment, Samadhi sovereign king. She continued reciting for an entire day and night. Suddenly, she saw herself arriving at the shore of a vast ocean. The waters of that ocean were boiling and bubbling violently. Countless fierce beasts with bodies made entirely of iron were leaping across the waves, running from one side to the other, chasing and attacking. She saw multitudes of men and women and the hundreds of thousands sinking and rising repeatedly in the ocean. The beasts continued to fight over the sinners, devouring their flesh. Then she saw the terrifying Yaki demons with monstrous forms, some with many arms, many eyes, many legs, and many heads. Their fangs protruded outward. Sharp as swords, they drove the sinners closer to the beasts. The demons then seized the sinners, grabbing them by the head and feet. Their grotesque appearances were beyond imagination, terrifying to behold. At that moment, through the power of reciting the Buddha's name, the holy maiden felt no fear. A ghost king named W.D. No Poison appeared. He bowed his head in respect and welcomed her, asking, "Excellent indeed, O Bodhisattva, what brings you to this place?" The holy maiden asked the ghost king, "Where is this place?" Ghost King No Poison replied, "This is the first sea, to the west of the great Iron Ring Mountain." The holy maiden asked, "I have heard that within the Iron Ring Mountain there are hells. Is that truly so?" No Poison answered, "Yes, the hells truly exist." The holy maiden then asked, "How can I reach the place of those hells?" No Poison replied, "Unless one possesses great spiritual power or is driven by karmic force, there's no way to reach that place." The holy maiden asked again, "Why is the water in this sea boiling so violently? And why are there so many sinners along with those vicious beasts?" No Poison answered, "The beings suffering in this sea are those who have just died after committing evil deeds in the land of Jambudvipa within 49 days after death. If there are no descendants or relatives to create merit on their behalf, and if, during their lifetime, they failed to cultivate any wholesome deeds, then, according to the evil karma they have created, they will naturally undergo the painful retribution of hell and be forced to wade through this boiling sea. 10,000 yoanas to the east of this sea, there lies another ocean. The suffering in that second ocean is even greater than in the first, and to the east of that ocean, there lies yet another ocean, where the torment is far more intense. All of these are formed through the evil karmic causes created by the three unwholesome actions of body, speech, and mind. They are collectively called the oceans of karma. These are the three karmic seas, The holy maiden then asked Ghost King No Poison, "Where is hell located?" No Poison replied, ***, within these 3 karmic seas are countless hells, numbering in the hundreds of thousands. Each one is different from the others. The major hells number 18, next are 500 secondary hells, each filled with immeasurable suffering, and below them, there are hundreds of thousands more, all containing inconceivable torment, ***. The holy maiden then asked the great Ghost King, "My mother passed away not long ago, but I do not know where her spirit has gone." The Ghost King asked the holy maiden, "What kind of karma did your mother create during her lifetime?" The holy maiden replied, "My mother clung to deviant beliefs and slandered the triple gem. There were moments when she briefly believed in the true Dharma, but she lacked proper reverence. Although she passed away recently, I still do not know into which realm she has fallen." No Poison asked, "What is your mother's name?" The holy maiden replied, "Both my father and mother came from a Brahmin lineage. My father's name was Kwela, and my mother's name was Yakodarb." No Poison folded his hands and said to the holy maiden, "Please return for now. Do not let your grief and longing overwhelm you any further. The sinner Yashodarb has been reborn in the heavenly realm for 3 days now. It is said that this was due to the deep filial piety of her daughter, who prepared offerings, cultivated blessings, and made devout offerings to temples and stupas in reverence of the Buddha flower of enlightenment, Samadhi, sovereign king." Not only did the Bodhisattva's mother escape the torments of hell, but on that very day, even the offenders in Avicii hell experienced relief and were also reborn. After speaking, the Ghost King folded his hands in respect, bowed to the holy maiden, and took his leave. At that moment, the holy maiden awakened as if from a dream, with full awareness of everything she had seen. She then knelt before the stupa and image of the Buddha flower of enlightenment, Samadhi, sovereign king, and made a vast and great vow, saying, "From this day forth and throughout future lifetimes, I vow that for all sentient beings who are suffering due to their karmic offenses, I will devise countless means to help them attain liberation." The Buddha then said to Manjurg, "That Ghost King No Poison of the past is now the Bodhisattva wealth keeper, and that Brahmin girl is now the Bodhisattva Ksitigarbha." Chapter 2. The Assembly of Emanated Bodies. 1. Emanations and their retinues at that time. The emanated forms of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva from within the various hell realms. Realms in the hundreds of thousands of millions, beyond imagination, thought, measurement, or description. From countless, limitless worlds, all gathered at the Ksitigarbha Heaven Palace. By the spiritual power of the Tathagata, those emanated bodies joined together with multitudes of beings who had already escaped the paths of karmic suffering throughout the 10 directions. They numbered in the billions upon billions of Nayudas, each carrying incense and flowers to make offerings to the Buddha. All those who arrived together with these emanated forms had, through the teachings of the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, established themselves on the path to supreme, unsurpassed enlightenment, never again to regress. These beings, from countless distant kalpas past, had been endlessly revolving through the 6 realms of existence, enduring all forms of suffering without the slightest pause or relief. Thanks to the great compassion and profound vows of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, they had now attained realization of the way. When this vast assembly arrived at the Ksitigarbha Heaven Palace, their hearts were filled with joy and delight, and they gazed upon the Tathagata with eyes that would not turn away. 2. the Tathagata's comfort and entrustment. At that time, the world honored one raised his golden hand and gently touched the crown of the emanated forms of great Bodhisattva Ksitigarbha, who had come from hundreds of thousands of millions of inconceivable, ineffable, immeasurable, and unspeakable worlds, and he said, "In this evil world of 5 defilements, I have guided beings of stubborn and difficult natures, leading them to tame their minds, turn away from deviant paths, and return to what is right. Yet, even among 10 parts, there are still 1 or 2 who persist in their evil ways. In order to save such beings, I too have manifested into hundreds of thousands of millions of bodies, using countless skillful means. Among these sentient beings, some have sharp faculties. Upon hearing my teachings, they immediately accept and believe. Some require repeated and earnest encouragement before they can realize virtuous results. Others, burdened with heavy karmic offenses, are unable to give rise to faith or reverence. I manifest in countless forms to liberate beings of various types and dispositions. At times I appear as a man, at times as a woman, at times as a celestial being, a dragon, a ghost, or a spirit. I may also manifest as forests, mountains, rivers, streams, ponds, canals, or springs, all to bring benefit to living beings and ultimately lead them to liberation. I manifest in countless forms to liberate beings of various types and dispositions. At times I appear as a man, at times as a woman, at times as a celestial being, a dragon, a ghost, or a spirit. I may also manifest as forests, mountains, rivers, streams, ponds, canals, or springs, all to bring benefit to living beings and ultimately lead them to liberation. I may manifest as the Heavenly King, or as Brahm, the Lord of the Heavens, as a wheel-turning king, as a national ruler, as a lay practitioner, as a prime minister, as various government officials, or as a bhikkhu monk, bhikkhukanan apnansaka, male devotee, or apnansaik, female devotee. Asterisk, asterisk, I have even manifested as Ravakas, Arhats, Pratnika Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas to transform and guide sentient beings. It is not only in the form of a Buddha that I appear before them. Ksitigarbha, consider how, throughout countless eons, I have endured great hardship to liberate stubborn beings weighed down by offenses and suffering, who are extremely difficult to transform. As for those who still cannot be tamed, they must continue to undergo karmic retribution, asterisk, asterisk. If, in the future, sentient beings fall into evil destinies and endure great suffering, you should recall my entrustment to you here in the Trayasriyava Heaven Palace, and do your utmost to deliver them. Work to ensure that all beings in this Saha world, by the time Maitreya Buddha appears in the world, will be freed from their suffering, will encounter the Buddha, and will receive his prediction of enlightenment. At that moment, all the emanated forms of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva from the various worlds merged into a single body. With eyes full of tears and deep emotion, he respectfully addressed the Buddha. From countless eons past until now, it is through the guidance and support of the world-honored one that I have attained inconceivable spiritual power and a vast and complete wisdom. I manifest my body throughout hundreds of thousands of millions of worlds, as numerous as the sands of the Ganges River. In each world, I manifest hundreds of thousands of millions of forms. Each of these forms transforms and guides hundreds of thousands of millions of beings, bringing them to take refuge in the Triple Gem, liberating them from the cycle of birth and death, so they may enjoy the bliss of nirvana. Asterisk, asterisk, for any sentient being who, within the Buddha's Dharma, performs even the smallest virtuous act, whether it be as slight as a strand of hair, a drop of water, a grain of sand, a speck of dust, or even as tiny as the tip of a single hair. I shall gradually liberate them, bringing them great benefit. I humbly beseech the Tathagata, do not be concerned or sorrowful over the evil karma of future beings. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk, I humbly beg the Tathagata, please do not worry about the evil karma of beings in the future. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva made this plea to the Buddha 3 times. Then the Buddha praised Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, saying, "Excellent, excellent. I shall aid you in fulfilling your vow. From countless eons past, you have always made vast and great vows. Once you have finished delivering all sentient beings, you shall realize the fruit of Bodhi." Chapter 3. Observing the karmic conditions of sentient beings. 1. The Buddha's mother inquires. At that time, the Buddha's mother, Lady Mai, respectfully folded her hands and asked Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, "Holy One, the sentient beings in the world of Jambudvapa create karma in many different ways. What kinds of retributions do they receive in return?"
Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva replied, "Across the thousands of millions of worlds and realms, there are places where hells exist, and places where they do not. There are places where women are found, and places where there are none. Some worlds contain the Buddha's teachings. Others do not. Even the presence of Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, and so on, differs from place to place. So the differences are not only in the karmic retributions of hell. All things throughout the worlds are distinct and varied in their own ways." Lady Maya then said to the Bodhisattva, "I wish to hear about the kinds of karma in Jambudvapa that led beings to fall into the evil paths." Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva replied, "Holy Mother, please listen attentively. I shall now offer a brief explanation." The Holy Mother said, "Please, Holy One, explain it to me." 2. Bodhisattva's brief explanation. At that moment, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva said to Lady Maya, "The karmic retributions in the southern Jambudvapa are as follows. For beings who are unfilial to their parents, or even kill their parents, such beings will fall into the Avachi hell, and ki sao saung ramams and remain there for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons without hope of ever escaping. They send for beings who harbor malicious hearts and harm the body of the Buddha, causing his blood to flow, who disrespect the triple gem and show no reverence for the sutras. Such beings will fall into the Avachi hell for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons and never have hope of escaping, or for beings who harm the monastic community, defile the monks and nuns, or create sexual misconduct in the sacred temples, or commit acts of killing or harm. Such beings will fall into the Avachi hell for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons and will never have hope of escaping. Or there are beings who pretend to be monks, but in truth, their minds are not of the monastic path. They abuse the offerings meant for the monastic community, violate the precepts, deceive lay people, and commit numerous evil deeds. Such beings will fall into the Avachi hell for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons and will never have hope of escaping. Or there are beings who steal offerings, such as grains, food, clothing, etc., from the monastic community, even taking things without permission. Such beings will fall into the avchi hell for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons and will never have hope of escaping. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva replied, Holy Mother, if any beings commit such offenses as those mentioned above, they will fall into the 5 avchi hells, and not even for a moment will their suffering cease. Lady Maya then asked the Bodhisattva, What is the avchi hell? Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva replied, Holy Mother, there are numerous hells within the Iron Ring Mountain. The largest of these has 18 places. Next, there are 500 places, each with its own distinct name. And then there are hundreds of thousands of names, each unique. As for the avchi hell, its boundary is surrounded by a city wall that stretches over 80,000 miles. The city is made entirely of iron, and its height reaches 10,000 miles. The fire burns on the walls without any gaps or openings. Inside the city of hell, there are many interconnected cells, each with its own distinct name. Among them is a special prison called Avasi. This hell measures a total circumference of 18,000 miles. The prison walls rise 1,000 miles high, made entirely of iron. The flames burn fiercely from top to bottom without ceasing. On the prison walls, iron snakes, iron dogs spit fire and chase each other back and forth. Within the hell, there are beds that span countless miles. When a sinner suffers, they see their own body occupying the entire bed. Even when thousands of millions of sinners are undergoing torment, each of them perceives their own body filling the bed. This is due to the karma they have created, which manifests as such a painful reality. Moreover, the sinners endure tremendous suffering, hundreds of thousands of yaksas, along with other evil spirits. Their fangs are sharp like swords. Their eyes shine as brightly as lightning. Their claws are as hard as bronze. They tear at the sinners' intestines and rip them apart. Other yaksas hold large iron spears and thrust them into the bodies of the sinners, piercing their mouths and noses or stabbing their bellies and backs. Then they lift them into the air, spear them, and drop them back onto the bed. There are also iron hawks that peck at the sinners' eyes. Other iron serpents bite the sinners' heads. Long nails are driven into their bodies all over, pinning them to the bed, their tongues pulled out and scraped. Sinners are dragged across it. Molten copper is poured into their mouths, and hot iron chains wrap around their bodies. They die and are reborn 1,000 times in a single day and night. This is due to their karmic offenses, which bring them such suffering, enduring for hundreds of thousands of eons, never to escape. When this world perishes, beings are reborn in the hells of another world. When that world perishes, they are reborn in yet another realm. When that realm perishes, they are once again reborn elsewhere. Finally, when this world is restored, they return here. This is the nature of the karmic retributions in the avchi hell. Moreover, the avchi hell is named so because it is caused by 5 karmic conditions. What are these 5 conditions? 1. The sinners in this hell endure suffering day and night. for countless eons without a single moment of rest. This is why it is called avachi. 2. A single sinner's body fills the entire hell. Many sinners, each body fills the entire hell. This is why it is called avachi. 3. The implements used to torment the sinners include 3-pronged spears, clubs, hawks, serpents, wolves, dogs, pestles, mills, saws, chisels, swords, boiling cauldrons, iron nets, iron chains, iron donkeys, iron horses, raw skins stretched over hot molten iron poured on their bodies. When hungry, they eat burning iron. When thirsty, they drink boiling iron. From a single eon to countless eons, the suffering continues without a single moment of cessation. This is why it is called avachi. 4. Whether male or female, Hmong, Man, or other tribes, young or old, rich or poor, whether dragon, celestial being, deity, or ghost. Anyone who commits evil deeds according to their karma, all will suffer in the same way. This is why it is called avachi. 5. If any being is sent to this hell, from the moment they enter, for hundreds of thousands of eons, each day and night, they die and are reborn countless times, wishing for even a moment's respite. But it is impossible to pause, except when their karmic offenses are fully exhausted, at which point they may be reborn. This continuous suffering is why it is called avicii. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva said to Lady Maya, "This is a brief explanation of the avachi hell if I were to elaborate. The names of the instruments of punishment and the various forms of suffering in that hell would take an entire eon to describe and still not be fully covered." Lady Maya, upon hearing Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's words, was deeply moved with sorrow. She respectfully folded her hands, bowed to the Bodhisattva, and withdrew. Chapter 4. The Karmic Conditions of Sentient Beings. 1. The Bodhisattva accepts the mandate. At that time, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, relying on the awesome power of the Tathagata, I have manifested my spiritual power in hundreds of thousands of millions of worlds to rescue all sentient beings who are suffering from karmic retribution. Without the great compassion of the Tathagata, I would not have been able to transform in such a way. Now I have received the Tathagata's entrustment. From now until Maitreya Buddha attains Buddhahood, I shall ensure that beings in the 6 realms are all liberated. I accept this vow. World-honored one, please do not worry." At that time, the Buddha said to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, "The sentient beings who have not yet been liberated, their awareness is not stable. If they are accustomed to doing evil, they create karmic retribution of evil. If they are accustomed to doing good, they create karmic retribution of good. The good and the evil they do depend on the conditions they encounter, rolling continuously through the 6 realms, without a single moment of pause, confused and deluded, enduring countless obstacles and suffering, as numerous as the particles of dust. It is like fish swimming in a net, flowing with the current. At times they may temporarily escape, but they will always fall back into the net. Therefore, we must be concerned for these beings. In a previous life, you made a vow, across many eons. to undertake the great vow, to liberate all beings from the suffering of their karma. So what is there for me to worry about? King of Self-Mastery asked. When the Buddha had finished speaking in the assembly, a great bodhisattva named King of Self-Mastery stood up and asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, for countless eons, what vow did Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva make, that the world-honored one now praises him so earnestly? I humbly request the world-honored one to briefly explain this." At that time, the world-honored one replied to the King of Self-Mastery Bodhisattva, listen well, reflect carefully, and I will explain it clearly to you. The king of a nearby land, countless immeasurable eons ago. At that time, there was a Buddha who appeared in the world named all knowledge accomplished Tathagata, worthy of offerings, rightly enlightened, perfect in conduct and wisdom, with auspicious conduct, the world's teacher, unsurpassed hero, the king of the law, the teacher of gods and humans, Buddha, world-honored one. That Buddha lived for 60,000 eons. Before he became a monk, he was the king of a small country and made friends with the king of a neighboring country. The two kings together practiced the 10 good deeds, bringing benefit to the people. The people in the neighboring country, however, mostly engaged in evil deeds. The two kings conferred and devised methods to guide and lead these people. One king made a vow. I vow that when I attain Buddhahood, I will lead these people to liberation, ensuring that none are left behind. The other king made a vow. I will not attain Buddhahood until I have first liberated all beings suffering from karma, bringing them peace and guiding them to the Bodhi fruit. The Buddha said to Manjushri, the king who vowed to attain Buddhahood soon is none other than all knowledge accomplished Tathagata, and the king who vowed to liberate all suffering beings before attaining Buddhahood is Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. 4. The light of the eyes saves the mother. Countless eons ago, there was a Buddha who appeared in the world, named Lotus Eye Tathagata. This Buddha lived for 40 eons. During the degenerate age of the Dharma, there was an Arhat with great virtue, who saved and guided sentient beings. One day, as the Arhat was traveling to teach, he encountered a woman named Guangmu. She prepared offerings of food for the Arhat. After accepting the offerings, the Arhat asked her, "What is it that you seek?" Guangmu replied, "When my mother passed away, I performed good deeds in hopes of saving her, but I do not know where she has been reborn." The Arhat, feeling compassion, entered meditation to observe, and saw that Guangmu's mother had fallen into a very painful hell. The Arhat asked Guangmu, "What kind of actions did your mother engage in during her lifetime that led her to fall into such intense suffering in hell?" Guangmu replied, "While she was alive, my mother had a great fondness for eating fish. She often ate baby fish and small crustaceans. Whether fried or boiled, she ate them freely to satisfy her cravings. The number of fish and crustaceans she had eaten exceeds hundreds of thousands. I beg the Honorable One to have compassion and tell me how to save my mother." The Arhat, feeling great compassion, gave her guidance. He advised Guangmu, you must sincerely recite the name of the Buddha, pure lotus eye, Tathagata, and create an image of the Buddha. Then, both the living and the deceased will receive benefits. After hearing this, Guangmu immediately used her wealth to make and worship an image of the Buddha. She performed the rituals with utmost reverence, crying and praying while gazing at the Buddha's image. That night, she dreamt of seeing the body of the Buddha glowing golden, radiating light like Mount Sumeru. The Buddha spoke to Guangmu saying, "Very soon, your mother will be reborn in your household. As soon as she experiences hunger and cold, she will be able to speak." The next day, a maid in the household gave birth to a boy, and within 3 days, the child could speak. The child, crying, said to Guangmu, "The karmic conditions in the cycle of birth and death must bear their own retribution. I am your mother, and have long been in the dark realm. Since we parted, I have fallen into the great hell. Thanks to your blessings, I am now reborn as a lowly being. My life is short, and by the age of 13, I will be cast into hell again. Is there any way to save me from this suffering?" Upon hearing the child's words, Guangmu immediately recognized it was her mother. She sobbed and asked the child, "If you are truly my mother, then you must understand your own karma. What karmic actions have you committed to deserve falling into such hell?" The child replied, "It is due to 2 offenses, killing living beings and speaking harsh words, that I am suffering the retribution. If not for your blessings and your rescue, I would still be unable to escape this suffering." Guangmu asked, "What are the sufferings and karmic retributions in hell like?" The child replied, "The sufferings are so unbearable that, even if I were to speak of them for hundreds of thousands of years, I still could not describe them all." Guangmu, upon hearing this, cried and wept, and then made a vow to the heavens. "I vow that my mother will be freed from hell. When she reaches the age of 13, she will no longer have grave karmic offenses and will not be cast into the evil realms again. I humbly ask the Buddhas of the 10 directions to compassionately witness my vow. For the sake of my mother, I make this great vow. May my mother be freed from the 3 evil realms and from the lowly existence of being a woman. In this life, may she no longer bear such suffering or bad retributions. I now make this vow before the image of pure lotus eye Tathagata, from now until countless eons in the future. In any world where beings suffer in hell or the 3 evil paths, I vow to rescue them, ensuring they all escape the realms of hell, beasts, and hungry ghosts. Those beings who suffer in such ways will all attain Buddhahood, and only then will I reach the state of supreme enlightenment." After making this vow, Guangmu immediately heard the voice of pure lotus eye Tathagata saying, "Guangmu, you are full of compassion. For making such a vast vow for your mother, it is truly wonderful. I have observed that your mother, when she reaches the age of 13, upon leaving this body, she will be reborn as a noble, long-lived person. Afterward, she will be reborn in the realm of undefiled, living for an unimaginable amount of time. Eventually, she will attain Buddhahood and save many beings, countless beings, as numerous as the sands of the Ganges. The Buddha said to Manjushra Bodhisattva, "The Arhat, who had the virtue of guiding Guangmu in the past, is none other than Vast Intention Bodhisattva. Guangmu's mother is Liberation Bodhisattva. As for Guangmu, she is none other than Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In countless eons past, she developed great compassion and made countless vows to save all sentient beings in such a way. In the future, if beings do not perform good deeds, but engage in evil, including those who do not believe in the law of cause and effect, those who engage in sexual misconduct, false speech, those who speak divisively, harsh speech, and slander the Mahayana, such beings will surely fall into the evil realms. However, if they encounter wise teachers who guide them to take refuge in Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, even in the time it takes to snap a finger, they will immediately be freed from the suffering of the three evil paths. If anyone can revere, gaze upon, bow to, and praise Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, offering robes, food, drinks, and other precious gifts, that person will enjoy supreme happiness in the heavenly realms. For hundreds of thousands of eons after, when their heavenly merit expires, they will be reborn in the human realm and will often be born as a king or ruler for hundreds of thousands of eons. They will also retain the memory of their past lives and the causes and effects of their actions. Manjush, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva has great spiritual power beyond comprehension and brings immense benefit to sentient beings in this way. You and the other bodhisattvas must remember this sutra and spread it widely for the benefit of all beings. Manjushra replied to the Buddha, "World-honored one, please do not worry. The millions of bodhisattvas in our assembly can rely on the Buddha's power to spread this sutra throughout the Jambudvapa world for the benefit of all sentient beings." After this, Manjushra respectfully folded his hands and bowed to the Buddha before withdrawing. 5. The four heavenly kings ask the Buddha. At that time, the four heavenly kings rose from their seats and respectfully joined their hands, saying to the Buddha, "World-honored one, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, from countless eons ago until now, has made such a great vow. Why, after all this time, does he still continue to vow to save beings? Please, world-honored one, explain this to us." The Buddha replied to the four heavenly kings, "Excellent, excellent. I will now explain for the benefit of sentient beings and for the celestial beings and humans of both the present and the future, the methods by which Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva works within the cycle of birth and death in this Jambudvapa world, and how, out of his great compassion, he saves and liberates all beings who suffer from their karmic retribution. The four heavenly kings replied, "Yes, world-honored one, we humbly request to hear this." 6. Skillful means of teaching. The Buddha said to the four heavenly kings, "From countless eons until now, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva has yet to fulfill his vow to save all sentient beings. He has great compassion for those who suffer from karmic retribution in this lifetime, and he observes that in the future, the suffering will continue endlessly. For this reason, he has made a great vow. In the world of Jambudvapa, in this Taba world, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva uses countless skillful means to teach and guide beings. Now listen, 4 heavenly kings. If Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva encounters a person who kills living beings, he teaches them the karmic retribution of untimely death due to past wrongdoings. If he encounters a thief, he teaches them the karmic retribution of poverty and suffering. If he encounters someone who engages in sexual misconduct, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being reborn as small birds, doves, or swans. If he encounters someone who speaks harshly, he teaches them the karmic retribution of conflict within their family. If he encounters someone who belittles others, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being born without a tongue or having sores on their mouth. If he encounters someone who is easily angered, he teaches them the karmic retribution of having a repulsive and deformed body. If he encounters a miser, he teaches them the karmic retribution of unfulfilled desires. If he encounters someone who recklessly hunts, he teaches them the karmic retribution of madness and violent death. If he encounters someone who is disobedient to their parents, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being cursed by heaven and earth. If he encounters someone who burns forests and trees, he teaches them the karmic retribution of dying in confusion and delirium. If he encounters a stepfather or stepmother who is cruel and abusive, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being reborn and suffering punishment. If he encounters someone who traps baby birds, he teaches them the karmic retribution of family division. If he encounters someone who slanders the triple gem, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being born blind, deaf, mute, and dumb. If he encounters someone who despises the Dharma, he teaches them the karmic retribution of staying forever in the evil paths. If he encounters someone who robs the monastic community, he teaches them the karmic retribution of endless suffering in hell. If he encounters someone who slanders the virtuous and the Sangha, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being reborn as an animal. If he encounters someone who burns or kills living beings, he teaches them the karmic retribution of endless mutual killing. If he encounters someone who breaks their precepts and commits sexual misconduct, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being born as hungry, thirsty animals. If he encounters someone who wastes and destroys wealth in a foolish manner, he teaches them the karmic retribution of poverty and lack. If he encounters someone who is arrogant and prideful, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being humbled and manipulated by others. If he encounters someone who stirs up conflict, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being born without a tongue or with hundreds of tongues. If he encounters someone with heretical views and superstition, he teaches them the karmic retribution of being reborn in a desolate place. Sentient beings in the realm of Jambudvapa, who commit evil through body, speech, and mind, will face countless karmic retributions like the ones mentioned. This is only a brief explanation. The various karmic conditions of sentient beings in Jambudvapa. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva uses hundreds of thousands of methods to teach them. These beings must first endure the consequences of their actions before falling into hell and suffering for countless eons without ever escaping. Therefore, you, the protectors and guardians of this realm, must ensure that these karmic obstacles do not mislead sentient beings. The 4 heavenly kings, after hearing this, wept with sorrow. They respectfully folded their hands and bowed to the Buddha before withdrawing. The Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's Original Vows, Volume 1, ends. The original vow of Ksitigarbha, the Trayastrimsha, heaven. Through miraculous power, he saves all beings. In this age of 5 defilements, salvation is difficult. Beings are stubborn and relentlessly cling to their suffering. Homage to the eternal Buddha of the 10 directions. Homage to the eternal Buddha of the 10 directions. Homage to the eternal Buddha of the 10 directions. Homage to the great vow Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. Homage to the great vow Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. Homage to the great vow Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. Chapter 5. The Names of the Hells. 1. The Question of Samantabhadra. At that time, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva asked Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, "Dear Bodhisattva, please, for the benefit of the heavenly beings, dragons, and all sentient beings in the present and future, tell us the names of the hells that serve as the places of karmic retribution for those suffering in Taba and Jambudvapa, and explain the resulting unwholesome consequences. This will help beings in the future, during the degenerate age of the Dharma, understand these karmic repercussions." Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva replied, "Dear Bodhisattva, now I rely on the miraculous power of the Buddha and the strength of his might to speak of the names of the hells and the karmic retributions and evil consequences. The names of the hells. Dear Bodhisattva, in the eastern part of Jambudvapa, there is a mountain range called Iron-Bound Mountain. This mountain range is very dark, with no light from the sun or moon. Within it is a great hell called Ultimate Avachi. There are also hells named Great Avachi, Square, No Sword, Fire Arrow, Iron Mountain, and Common Passage. There are hells named Iron Chariot, Iron Bed, Iron Ox, Iron Clothes, Heavenly Endurance, and Iron Net. There are hells named Silver Cave, Precious Pillar, Flowing Fire, Rough Trap, Iron Handcuffs, and Heavenly Feet. There are hells named Slight Eyes, Iron Ring, Right Debate, Iron Thorns, and more suffering. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva explained. Dear Bodhisattva, in the Iron-Bound Mountain, there are countless hells like these. There are also hells like Revenge, Trapped, Throat Bind, Closed Doors, Fire Statue, Fire Dogs, Fire Horses, Fire Cattle, Fire Stones, Fire Beds, Fire Weights, Fire Eagles, Mouth-bound Sharp Nails, Blood-drenched Burned Hands, Burned Feet, Confused Hearts, Fire Houses, Iron Houses, Fire Wolves. Such hells, each large hell contains smaller hells, whether 1, 2, 3, or 4, up to hundreds of thousands, each with a distinct name. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva said to Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, Dear Bodhisattva, all of these hells are the result of the evil deeds committed by sentient beings in Jambudvapa. Their karma manifests in the form of these hells. The power of karma is vast. It is like the Mount Sumeru. It is as deep as the oceans, and it can block the path of the saints. Therefore, sentient beings must not think that small wrongdoings are insignificant. After death, every tiniest act of evil will bear its retribution. Even for those as close as father and son, each must follow their own karmic path. And even if they meet again, they will not be willing to suffer for each other. Now I rely on the Buddha's power and will briefly explain the karmic retributions in hell. I ask that you, dear Bodhisattva, listen to this. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva replied, "Although I have long known the karmic retributions in the 3 evil realms, I wish for you to explain it so that all sentient beings with evil tendencies in the future, during the degenerate age of the Dharma, may hear your teachings and know how to turn towards the Buddha's teachings. There are hells where the tongues of the sinners are pulled out and plowed by oxen, hells where the hearts of sinners are ripped out and fed to yaksas, hells with cauldrons of boiling oil that burn the sinners' bodies, hells with iron pillars heated red where the sinners are forced to embrace them. There are hells with great flames that rush toward the sinners, hells entirely made of ice, hells filled with endless filth and waste, hells with iron spikes that impale the sinners, hells with fiery lances that pierce them. There are hells where only the shoulders and backs are beaten, hells where only the hands and feet are burned, hells where iron snakes coil around and bite the sinners, hells where iron dogs chase and torment them, hells where iron yokes are placed on them. Dear Bodhisattva, these retributions, in each and every hell, have hundreds of thousands of implements used for punishment, made of bronze, iron, stone, and fire. These 4 types of implements are the result of the evil karmic actions of sentient beings. If I were to describe all the suffering in the hells, each hell has hundreds of thousands of different kinds of suffering, let alone the countless other hells. Now, I rely on the Buddha's power and answer your question briefly. If I were to explain everything in detail, it would take an entire eon and still not be enough. Tsawas Ar. 6th chapter, Praises of the Tathagata. 1. The Buddha emits light and gives instructions. At that moment, the whole body of the Tathagata emitted a great light, illuminating countless worlds far beyond imagination. In that light, a voice echoed across all the Buddha realms, saying, "All great bodhisattvas, along with the celestial beings, dragons, spirits, and gods, listen well. Today I am praising and proclaiming the virtues of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In all 10 directions, his boundless compassion and miraculous power beyond comprehension, to save all beings suffering from karmic retribution. After my passing, all of you, great bodhisattvas, along with celestial beings, dragons, spirits, and gods, should use various skillful means to protect and spread the sutra, so that all sentient beings may be freed from suffering and attain the blissful state of nirvana." 2. The request of Samantabhadra. After the Buddha spoke in the assembly, a bodhisattva named Samantabhadra respectfully folded his hands and said to the Buddha, "I have now heard the Tathagata praise the great and unimaginable power of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and his ability to save beings. Sao, Chao, I hope that the Tathagata will once again explain to the sentient beings in the future, during the degenerate age of the Dharma, the karmic results of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, bringing benefit to both the heavenly and human realms, so that the heavenly beings, dragons, spirits, and all sentient beings in the future may heed the Buddha's words. Then the world-honored one said to Samantabhadra Bodhisattva and the 4 assemblies, "Listen well, listen well. I will now briefly explain the merits of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, bringing benefits to both humans and celestial beings." Samantabhadra Bodhisattva respectfully replied, "Yes, world-honored one, we humbly wish to hear this." 3. The Buddha teaches the benefits. The Buddha said to Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, "In the future, if any good man or good woman hears the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, whether they bow their hands, praise, bow in reverence, or show admiration, that person will be freed from suffering for 30 eons. Now Samantabhadra, if any good man or good woman creates an image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, and then once gazes upon it or bows in reverence, that person will be reborn in the Triyastrimsha heaven 100 times. Never again will they fall into the evil paths. Lent, even if their heavenly merits run out and they are reborn in the human realm, they will still be reborn as a king and will not lose their great benefits. 4. Freedom from female form. If a woman becomes tired of her female body and wholeheartedly offers to the images of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, An Chieu made from clay, stone, resin, paint, bronze, iron, etc. She offers flowers, incense, food, drink, clothing, silk, parasols, money, and jewels. Continuously making offerings like this, after completing 1 lifetime as a woman, she will not be reborn in a female form for hundreds of thousands of eons, let alone suffering the female body again, except when out of great compassion she must take a female body to save others. Thanks to her offerings to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and the merits she accumulates, she will never again take on a female body in future lifetimes. 5. Beautiful form. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, if any woman tired of her ugly and diseased body comes before the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva with sincere devotion and reverence, even for a single meal's time, that woman will be reborn with a beautiful and disease-free body for countless eons. That woman, if she does not dislike the female form, will be reborn as the daughter of a king or as a queen consort, from a noble family, or as the daughter of great elders, with elegant and beautiful appearance. Through their sincere admiration and reverence for the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, they will receive such great merits. 6. The protection of spirits and deities. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, if any good man or good woman is able to stand before the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and play music, sing praises, offer flowers and incense, even encouraging one person or many to do so, such people in the present life and in the future, will be protected by hundreds of thousands of spiritual beings day and night. Nothing harmful will reach their ears. How much more will they avoid sudden misfortunes? 7. Slander and its retribution. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. In the future, if any evil person or evil spirit sees a good man or good woman, take refuge, offer respect, praise, and reverence to the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, and then maliciously belittle them, claiming that there is no merit or benefit in such actions, whether sneering, criticizing behind their backs, or disparaging in front of them, whether advising others to criticize, or advising one person or many to criticize, even harboring thoughts of disdain for a brief moment. Such people, after the passing of 1,000 Buddhas in this world, will face the karmic retribution of their slander and remain in Avachi hell, enduring tremendous suffering. Only after the current age has passed will they be reborn as hungry ghosts. Then, after 1,000 more lifetimes, they will take the form of animals. And only after another 1,000 lifetimes will they finally be born as humans. Even if reborn as a human, they will be born into a life of poverty, low status, deformities, and be bound by past evil karma. Not long after, they will fall again into the evil paths. Now, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, if any man or woman lies bedridden with pain, unable to live or die, or if at night they dream of evil spirits, or even their own family members, or find themselves walking in dangerous places, or are haunted by spirits and demons, if you or someone experiences this for months or years and falls into diseases like tuberculosis or paralysis, crying out in agony during sleep, this is all due to unresolved karmic retribution, where it is neither a light nor heavy karmic retribution. So sometimes it is difficult to die or difficult to heal. The ordinary eyes of the man or woman cannot perceive this. One should recite this sutra aloud before the images of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or take something precious to the sick person, like clothes, valuables, or homes, and before the sick person, speak aloud saying, "We are name and family." And now, for this sick person, we offer these belongings, either offering them to the sutra and images, or creating images of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, or building temples and stupas, or purchasing lamps and offerings, or giving them to the regular offerings of the community. For 3 times chant aloud so the sick person can hear it, even if the person's consciousness has dissipated and their breath has ceased. For 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, up to 7 days. Keep chanting loudly as above and reciting this sutra. After the person passes away, even if they had heavy sins before, including the 5 heinous crimes, they will be freed from them. Reborn anywhere, they will remember their past lives. Moreover, anyone, good man or good woman, who copies this sutra, or instructs others to copy it, or makes images of the Bodhisattva, even instructing others to do so, will receive immeasurable blessings in the future. Now, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, therefore, if you see anyone who reads or recites this sutra, even if only for a moment praising it, or revering it sincerely, you must use countless methods to encourage that person to to be diligent and not slack off. They will receive immeasurable blessings in the present and the future. 9. The liberation of spirits. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. In the future, if any sentient being, either in a dream or in a vision, sees spirits, deities, or strange forms, and feels sorrowful, or cries, or becomes distressed, or laments, or is fearful, or scared, this is because either their parents, children, spouses, or relatives from this or previous lives have fallen into the evil paths and have not yet escaped. They don't know where to turn for the power of merit to help relieve their suffering, so they return to communicate with their loved ones in this life, hoping for some means to escape the evil paths. Now, Samantabhadra, you should use your spiritual power to cause the family members of the deceased to face the images of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and with sincere devotion, they should recite this sutra, or have others recite it for 3 or up to 7 repetitions. In this way, the relatives who are trapped in the evil realms will be freed when the recitation reaches the designated number of repetitions. Even in dreams, they will no longer appear to trouble the living. 10. Liberation from servitude. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. In the future, if there are lowly people, such as slaves or those without freedom, who know they are suffering due to past karma, they should sincerely gaze at the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and offer respect. After 7 days, they should recite the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva 100,000 times. Such individuals, after completing their servile life in this world, will be reborn into noble positions in future lives and will never fall again into the 3 evil paths of suffering. 11. Easy childbirth. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. In the future, in Jambudvapa, among the Kshatriyas, Brahmins, noblemen, and householders, and all the other peoples and ethnicities, if any man or woman gives birth, whether to a son or daughter, within 7 days, they should recite this incomparable sutra for the newborn child, and recite the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva 100,000 times for them. If this happens, whether the child is a son or daughter, if they have committed any past wrongs, they will be freed from all of them and will live a peaceful, happy, and long life. If the child is born due to the power of merit, their life will be even more peaceful and longer. 12. 10 days of fasting and reciting. Sutras for merit. Furthermore, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, in every month, the days of the 1st, 8th, 14th, full moon, 18th, 23rd, 24th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. These 10 days are when the karmic retributions gather to be judged as heavy or light. All actions and thoughts of sentient beings in the realm of Jambudvapa, nothing is without fault, especially those who engage in killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, false speech, and the many other wrongful acts. In the future, if there are any sentient beings during these 10 fasting days who can recite this sutra once, before the images of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and saints, the area around them in the 4 directions, east, west, south, north, Within 100,000 leagues, no calamities will occur, and the house where they live, everyone, whether old or young, in the present and future, for hundreds of thousands of years, will be free from the evil realms during these 10 fasting days, if they can recite this sutra every day. In the present life, their family will be free from unexpected illness, and their food and clothing will be abundant. Samantabhadra. Therefore, know that Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva possesses inconceivable, miraculous powers and has immense benefits for sentient beings. Sentient beings in this Jambudvipa realm have a great connection to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. Those beings who hear the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, or see the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, or hear even 3 or 5 words of this sutra, or one verse or one line, they will enjoy extraordinary happiness in the present life, and in the future lives, they will be reborn in noble families with beautiful forms. 13. The name of the sutra. After the Buddha praised Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva immediately knelt down, folded his hands, and asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, I have long known of this great Bodhisattva's miraculous power, an immense vow, but now, to help future beings understand these benefits, I humbly ask the world-honored one. Yes, I respectfully accept the Buddha's teachings. World-honored one, what is the name of this sutra, and how should we spread it?" The Buddha replied to Samantabhadra, "This sutra has 3 names. One is the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's Original Vows Sutra, also called the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's Original Practices Sutra, and also called the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's Great Vow Power Sutra, because Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva has made great vows from countless eons ago to benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, you should follow the spirit of his vow and diligently spread this sutra." After hearing the Buddha's teachings, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva respectfully accepted it, folded his hands, bowed to the Buddha, and withdrew. Seventh chapter. The benefits for both the living and the deceased. 1. Encouraging the practice of the sacred path. At that moment, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva respectfully spoke to the Buddha. "World-honored one, I observe the sentient beings in the realm of Jambudvipa. Their thoughts and actions are filled with unwholesome deeds. When encountering situations that could lead to good or beneficial results, they often lose their initial resolve. But when faced with harmful, unwholesome situations, they gradually deepen their negative actions. Such beings are like people carrying heavy stones through mud. The burden grows heavier, their situation worsens, and their steps sink deeper. These beings, however, sometimes encounter wise teachers who lighten their burdens, or they are completely relieved, because the wise teachers possess great strength. They support and encourage the beings to persevere and regain their balance. When they finally escape the mud and reach solid ground, they must reflect on the treacherous path they came from and vow not to return. World-honored one, sentient beings who are accustomed to evil ways. Start with small offenses, but gradually accumulate countless wrongdoings. When such beings are about to face death, their parents and family members often create merit to help their future journey. Alternatively, hang banners and light oil lamps, or recite the Buddha's teachings, or offer to the Buddha's images and the images of the saints, even recite the names of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, including the Arhats, so that their names and titles are heard by the person nearing death, or reach the person's primary consciousness. According to the evil karma the person has created, if calculated, they would be destined to fall into the evil paths. However, due to the family's merit-making for the deceased, all the wrongdoings of that person will be cleansed if, after the person has passed away, for 49 days, the family continues to generate many merits for them, they will be freed from the evil paths and be reborn in heaven or as a human, enjoying great happiness. And the living relatives will also benefit immeasurably. Therefore, I urge all beings to be mindful, when the time of death comes, that relatives must be cautious, not to kill and not to create unwholesome karmic causes, nor to perform offerings to spirits, deities, or to the dead. Why is this? Because acts of killing and such offerings bring no benefit to the deceased, but only deepen the karmic ties, making the situation worse. Gentes tenepo, if the deceased, either from the past or present life, had attained the path of the saints and would be reborn in the realms of heaven or as a human, but due to the actions of their family at the time of death, they are bound by unwholesome karma, which delays their rebirth in a favorable place. What if the deceased, while living, never accumulated good deeds, and instead followed evil actions, causing them to fall into the evil paths? The family should not burden the deceased's karma with more harm. It is like a person coming from a faraway land, having gone without food for 3 days, carrying a load heavier than 100 pounds, then encountering someone nearby who adds more weight, making the traveler suffer even more. World-honored one, I observe sentient beings in Jambudvapa within the teachings of the Buddha. If they can do a single act of merit, even as small as a hair's breadth, a drop of water, a grain of sand, or even the smallest speck of dust, all of these beings will benefit and be liberated. 2. The layman asks. After Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva spoke, a layman named Daibian stood up. He had long realized the truth of non-birth, appearing as a layman to help beings in the 10 directions. He respectfully clasped his hands and asked Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, Honorable Bodhisattva in Jambudvapa, if a person dies and their family, both young and old, performs meritorious deeds for the deceased, including offering food and making offerings to accumulate merit, will this bring great benefit and liberation to the deceased? 3. Both the living and the deceased benefit. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva replied, O venerable layman, now for the sake of all sentient beings in the present and in the future, I will briefly explain this matter, relying on the Buddha's immense power. O venerable layman, those sentient beings in the present or future, when they are nearing death and hear the name of a Buddha, the name of a Bodhisattva, or the name of an Arhat, they will be liberated regardless of whether they have committed sins or not. For example, if any man or woman during their lifetime failed to cultivate good deeds but committed evil actions, After their death, their family and relatives, both adults and children, perform meritorious deeds on their behalf, and do all things related to the sacred path. Then, of the 7 parts of merit accumulated, 1 part benefits the deceased, and the remaining 6 parts of merit belong to the living relatives who are performing these deeds. For this reason, those good men and good women in the present and future, upon hearing these words, should strive diligently to practice, so that they can receive the full merit. The vicious, unpredictable spirit comes unexpectedly. The soul wanders aimlessly, not knowing whether it is bound by sin or merit. During the 49 days, it is as if it is deaf and oblivious. It may be in the offices of judgment, arguing over its karmic consequences. When the judgment is completed, the soul will follow the karmic retribution. During this uncertain time, the soul suffers countless hardships and may even fall into the evil paths. The soul of the deceased, before being reborn, during the 49 days, continuously waits for the relatives to perform merit-making, to help liberate them. When the 49 days have passed, the soul will follow its karmic retribution. If the deceased is a sinner, they will suffer for 1,000 years with no hope of escape. And if the deceased has committed the 5 heinous crimes, they will fall into the great hell and endure unimaginable suffering for countless eons. Furthermore, O venerable layman, after beings commit such karmic transgressions and pass away, if their family and relatives perform merit-making, offering food and blessings to increase the deceased's good fortune, during the preparation and the offering, they should not spill rice water, vegetable leaves, or other offerings on the ground, nor should they eat before offering the food to the Buddha and Sangha. If the offerings are done improperly and not prepared with cleanliness, the deceased will not receive any merit. However, if the offerings are made properly, the deceased will benefit from 1/7 of the merit accumulated. Therefore, O venerable layman in Jambudvapa, after the death of parents or relatives, if one can make offerings and pray sincerely, both the living and the deceased will benefit. When Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva said these words, in the heavenly realm of Tavatimsa, the heaven of 33 gods, countless thousands of millions of spirits from Jambudvapa, all generated bodhicitta and limitless aspirations. The venerable layman Daibian, filled with joy, heeded the teachings, made his offering, and withdrew respectfully. Eighth Chapter, The Yama King's Praise. 1. The Yama Kings and Demon Kings gather. At that moment, in the Tethvi mountain range, countless demon kings and the king of Yama ascended to the Tavatimsa heaven to the presence of the Buddha. These demon kings were named Evil Heart Demon King, Many Evil Demon King, Great Virtue Demon King, White Tiger Demon King, Blood Tiger Demon King, Red Tiger Demon King, Falling Offering Demon King, Flying Demon King, Bright Eye Demon King, Wolf Mouth Demon King, Calm Beast Demon King, Stone Beast Demon King, Treasure Hoard Demon King, Fate Bearer Demon King, Wealth Demon King, Animal Protector Demon King, Bird Protector Demon King, Snake Protector Demon King, Psyche Demon King, Production Demon King, Life Demon King, Disease Demon King, Danger Demon King, Three Eyes Demon King, Four Eyes Demon King, Five Eyes Demon King, Kiri Li, Seven Kings, Great Kiri Li Demon King, Anatra King, Great Anatra King. These great demon kings, along with hundreds of thousands of lesser demon kings, each of them had duties and domains of responsibility in Jambudvapa. These demon kings, along with the king of Yama, relying on the Buddha's divine power and the strength of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, ascended to Tavatimsa heaven, standing to one side. 2. King Yama asks the Buddha. At that moment, King Yama knelt and clasped his hands in reverence and asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, now we, along with the demon kings, have ascended to the great assembly in Tavatimsa heaven, relying on the Buddha's divine power and the strength of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. And this is the great merit we have received. We have some doubts, and we humbly ask the Buddha to kindly instruct us." The Buddha replied to King Yama, "You may ask, and I will explain it to you." At that moment, King Yama bowed to the Buddha and turned to look at Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, then asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, I observe that Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva in the 6 realms uses countless methods to save beings suffering from karmic retribution. He never tires of his efforts. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva possesses immeasurable powers beyond comprehension. Yet why is it that after beings are freed from their karmic retribution, they soon fall again into the evil paths?" 3. The Buddha explains the cause. The Buddha replied to King Yama, "Sentient beings in Jambudvapa have stubborn natures, difficult to teach and difficult to correct. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, in countless eons, has saved these beings, helping them to quickly attain liberation. Those who suffer karmic retribution, even being cast into the great evil paths, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva uses skillful means to uproot their karmic seeds and makes them remember their past actions, because sentient beings in Jambudvapa create heavy karmic actions and commit grave sins. They may temporarily escape from the evil paths, but soon return to them, which burdens Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, who has to endure many eons of concern to save them. It is like a person who forgets their way home and wanders into a dangerous path. In that path, there are many demons, wild beasts, lions, poisonous snakes, and scorpions. The person lost in this dangerous path will soon be harmed. A wise teacher who knows many magical techniques has the ability to eliminate these dangers and can even drive away demons and poisonous creatures. Seeing the lost person heading toward this dangerous path, the teacher rushes to warn them. "Oh, you there, what business do you have walking on this dangerous path? Do you have any special techniques to counteract the harmful dangers?" The lost person, upon hearing the question, immediately realized they were on a perilous path and decided to turn back, seeking to escape the dangerous road. The wise teacher took hold of the lost person's hand, guiding them safely out of the perilous path, away from the dangers, leading them to a safe road and ensuring their safety. Now, lost traveler, from this day forward, do not tread on that dangerous path again. Anyone who ventures down that road will find it hard to return and will surely suffer harm to their life. The lost person felt deeply grateful. As they parted, the wise teacher gave one final piece of advice. If you encounter any friends, family, or travelers, whether male or female, warn them about the dangers of this path. Let them know it is full of dangers and leads to destruction. Do not allow anyone to walk down this path to their death. For this reason, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, with great compassion, saves beings suffering from karmic retribution, hoping to guide them to be reborn in the heavens or as humans, so they may enjoy happiness and peace. Those suffering from their karmic deeds, having seen the suffering of the evil paths, will, once freed, never return to those paths again. Just like the lost traveler, who upon encountering a wise teacher is guided off the dangerous path and will never lose their way again. If you meet others, tell them not to go down that path, saying that you forgot your way and ended up lost there. But now you've escaped and will never return to that path again. If one continues down that path, it means they are still deluded and don't recognize that it is the perilous road they once strayed into, potentially leading to their death. Just as beings who are cast into the evil paths, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva uses skillful means to save them, allowing them to escape and be reborn in the heavens, only to fall back into the evil paths again. If such beings have accumulated extremely heavy karma, they will remain in the hell realms forever, never able to escape. 4. The demon kings express their noble vows. World-honored one, we, the many demon kings in Jambudvipa, some of us benefit beings while others harm them, and each of us has different roles. But due to karmic retribution, our kin pass through realms of evil, with few entering the realms of virtue, passing through houses, towns, villages, and homes. If there is a man or woman who performs even the smallest act of merit, like offering a speck of dust, hanging a flag, offering a little incense or flowers to a statue of the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, reciting a sutra, or burning incense to offer a verse or line of a scripture, we, the demon kings, reverently honor that person as we would honor the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. Recite, we command the lesser demon kings with great power and those in charge of territories to safeguard and ensure that no harmful events, disasters, or sudden illnesses approach the homes of the people under our protection. They must prevent any misfortune from coming near, let alone entering the doors. The Buddha praised the demon king, saying, well done. You and King Yama can protect these virtuous men and women like this. I will also instruct the heavenly beings, like Brahma and Indra, to protect you all. 5. The guardian of life requests to speak. After the Buddha said these words, in the assembly, a demon king named Guardian of Life bowed to the Buddha and said, world-honored one, my original responsibility is to manage the lifespan of beings in the realm of Jambudvipa. I know when beings are born and when they die, according to my vows. I have greatly benefited all beings. However, because beings do not understand my intentions, they do not experience peace during their birth or death. Why is this? 6. When born, practice goodness and avoid evil. In the realm of Jambudvipa, when a person is born, whether a boy or a girl, before they are born, they should practice good deeds that benefit their family. This will cause the earth deity to be overjoyed. bringing peace to both the mother and the child. And the family members will also receive blessings. If the child has already been born, one should be cautious not to harm any living beings for the sake of providing fresh offerings for the mother, nor should the family gather to drink alcohol, eat meat, and play music. If these actions are performed, they could cause the mother and child not to experience peace and happiness. Why is this? Because at the time of childbirth, there are numerous evil spirits and demonic entities craving for fresh blood. Thanks to you, the deities and earth guardians were sent early to protect the mother and child, ensuring their peace and granting them many benefits. The person, seeing that they are safe, should have performed good deeds to repay the gratitude to the earth deity. However, instead, they harm living creatures and gather their relatives. Because of this, they incur bad karma and must bear the consequences, resulting in harm to both the mother and child. 7. On dying, one should perform good deeds. In the realm of Yambudvapa, when a person dies, whether they are virtuous or wicked, we wish for them to not fall into the evil paths. How much more so for those who, in their lifetime, practiced good deeds, which also increase the strength of the blessings for their children. In the realm of Jambudvapa, even those who have done good deeds may encounter hundreds of thousands of evil spirits and demonic forces. These forces may take the forms of their parents or loved ones, guiding the soul of the deceased toward the evil paths. How much more so for those who, in their lives, have committed evil deeds. World-honored one, the men and women of Jambudvapa, at the time of their death, have their consciousness clouded, and they cannot discern between good and bad, nor can they hear or see anything. The relatives of the deceased should make preparations for great offerings, recite sacred scriptures, chant the names of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and create blessings through their actions. This can help the deceased escape the evil paths, and all the evil spirits, demons, and malevolent forces will dissipate. World-honored one. All beings, when they are about to pass away, if they hear the name of a Buddha, a Bodhisattva, or even just a verse from the Mahayana Sutras, I have observed that they are freed from all their sins, including the 5 inexhaustible sins and the sin of murder, and any minor evil deeds that would otherwise lead them into the evil paths are eradicated. 8. Buddha's instruction. The Buddha said to the King of Life, "Because of your great compassion, you are able to make such a powerful vow to save beings from suffering in the cycle of life and death. In the future, if any man or woman is nearing death, you must not forget your vow. You must ensure they are liberated and that they attain lasting peace." The King of Life replied, "World-honored one, please do not worry. Throughout my life, I have always supported beings in Jambudvapa, ensuring they have peace at birth and at death. I hope that beings in their lives and at their deaths will follow my guidance and benefit greatly." 9. Buddha's prophecy for the King of Life. Then the Buddha said to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, "This great demon king, who governs the lifespan of all beings, has served as a demon king for hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, helping beings at birth and at death. This is a great bodhisattva who, out of compassion, vowed to appear as a demon, though he is truly not a demon. After 170 lifetimes, he will attain Buddhahood, and his name will be Vo Tuong Nhu Lai, the Buddha of no form. His world will be called Tintru, pure abode, and his lifespan will be immeasurable. These deeds of the great demon king are beyond all comprehension. The gods and humans he saves will be immeasurable, and their numbers will be beyond counting. Exapo wo daos. Chapter 9. The Names of the Buddhas. At that time, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva spoke to the Buddha, saying, "World-honored one, now I wish to display the benefits for sentient beings in the future and make great merits in the cycle of birth and death. Please allow me to speak about this." The Buddha replied to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, saying, "Now you wish to generate great compassion to save all beings suffering in the 6 realms and explain matters that are beyond conception. This is the right time, so please go ahead and speak. If you can complete this vow, even after I enter nirvana, I will no longer have any concerns for the beings of the present and future." Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva then spoke to the Buddha, saying, "World-honored one, in countless past eons, there was a Buddha whose name was Vo Bien Than Nu Lai, the Buddha of infinite body. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha and for a moment generates respect, they will transcend the heavy karma of birth and death for 40 lifetimes. How much more so if they draw an image, offer offerings, or praise him? They will gain infinite and boundless merit. Furthermore, in eons past, there was a Buddha named Bu Thang Nu Lai, the Buddha of precious victory. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha and, in the blink of an eye, takes refuge in the Buddha, they will never fall back from the path of the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment. In the distant past, there was a Buddha named Vo Bien Than Nu Lai. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha, even for just a moment, they will transcend the heavy karma of birth and death for 40 lifetimes, let alone if they sincerely recite the name or offer praises. Also, countless eons ago, there was a Buddha named Sutu Hong Nu Lai. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha and generates the wish to take refuge in the Buddha, even in the blink of an eye, that person will encounter an infinite number of Buddhas who will bless them and predict their future enlightenment. In the past, there was a Buddha named Khao Lu Ton Nu Lai. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha and sincerely gazes upon, worships, or praises his name, they will be born in a gathering of 1,000 Buddhas and be granted the great blessing of achieving supreme enlightenment. In the past, there was a Buddha named Tai Ba Thi Nu Lai. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha, they will never fall into the evil paths, but will be born in the realms of gods and humans, enjoying the most exquisite happiness. Countless eons ago, there was a Buddha named Ja Bu Nu Lai. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha, they will be free from the evil paths and will dwell in the heavenly realms, enjoying supreme and unparalleled joy. In the past, there was a Buddha named Bu Tuong Nhu Lai. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha and generates a heart of reverence, they will soon attain the fruit of an arhat. Also, countless eons ago, there was a Buddha named Tsa Sa Trong Nu Lai, the Buddha of the robe of kings. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha, they will transcend the karmic cycle of birth and death within 100 great eons. In the past, there was a Buddha named Jai Thong Sonvong Nhulai, the great wisdom mountain king Buddha. If any man or woman hears the name of this Buddha, they will encounter an infinite number of Buddhas who will teach them many profound teachings, allowing them to achieve the path of Bodhi. Further in the past, there were many Buddhas, such as the Tin Nguyat Phat, Pure Moon Buddha, Son Vuong Phat, Mountain King Buddha, Tri Thang Phat, Wisdom Victory Buddha, Ting Dan Vuong Phat, Pure Name King Buddha, Trithan Tu Phat, Wisdom Completion Buddha, Vo Thuong Phat, Supreme Buddha, Dieu Thin Phat, Wonderful Sound Buddha, Mun Nguyet Phat, Full Moon Buddha, Nguyet Dien Phat, Moon-Faced Buddha, and countless other Buddhas. All sentient beings in the present and future lives, whether celestial beings, humans, male or female, who recite the name of just one Buddha will receive immeasurable merits, let alone those who recite many names. These sentient beings will receive much benefit in both life and death, and will no longer fall into the evil paths. If someone is nearing death, and their relatives or even one person in the household sincerely recites the name of one Buddha aloud for the person who is about to pass away, that person will have their 5 major offenses eradicated, and all other karmic retributions will be wiped away. The 5 major uninterrupted sins, though extremely heavy, would ordinarily result in suffering for countless eons without any hope of escape. However, at the time of death, if someone else recites the name of the Buddha on their behalf, those heavy sins are gradually eradicated. How much more so for sentient beings who, of their own accord, recite the name of the Buddhas. Such beings receive immeasurable blessings and eliminate countless sufferings. End of the middle volume of the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's Fundamental Vows. The vows of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, deep and vast, his compassion, with his golden staff and radiant pearl, he saves sentient beings. The suffering of the hells is endless, yet through his diligence and commitment, he helps us escape the suffering of cyclic existence. Chau, Namo to the eternal and unchanging Dharma of the 10 directions. Namo to the eternal and unchanging Dharma of the 10 directions. Namo to the eternal and unchanging Dharma of the 10 directions. Namo Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Namo Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Kaitan. Namo Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Chapter 10. Comparison of the merit and virtue of generosity. At that time, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva, relying on the Buddha's spiritual power, stood up from his seat, knelt, and respectfully clasped his hands, saying to the Buddha, "Revered Buddha, I observe that sentient beings in the karmic path experience different levels of merit in their acts of giving. Some beings enjoy the fruits of their generosity within a single lifetime. Others enjoy benefits over 10 lifetimes, and some receive great blessings over 100 lifetimes 1,000 lifetimes. Why is this so? Please, O Buddha, kindly explain. At that time, the Buddha said to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, "Now I will explain the comparison of the merit and virtue of giving in the realm of the human world, Diem Fu J, to all beings in this assembly, here in the heaven of the 33. You must listen carefully, for I will speak to you." Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva responded to the Buddha, saying, "I have doubts about this matter. I would like to hear your explanation." The Buddha then said to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, "In the world of South Diem Fu Je, there are kings, high-ranking ministers, great elders, great Shakya rulers, great Brahmins, and so on. Chat, if one encounters a person who is extremely poor, even someone who is mute, deaf, blind, or physically impaired, or those whose bodies are incomplete in some way, when those kings or others in high positions desire to make offerings, if they can truly develop great compassion, joyfully humble themselves, and personally offer their wealth to all these individuals, or ask others to do so, while using kind and gentle words to console them, such kings, great ministers, and others will receive the benefits equivalent to making offerings to 100 million Buddhas. Why is this? It is because these kings and others, by developing great compassion toward the severely poor and those with disabilities, gain blessings and rewards like this. Over hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, they will have abundant wealth and resources, including everything needed for sustenance, such as clothing, food, and drink. Furthermore, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, in the future, if any king or even a Brahmin encounters a stupa or temple where a Buddha is enshrined, or sees a Buddha, Bodhisattva, Shravaka, or Pratyeka Buddha image, and personally repairs, offers, or makes donations to it, that king will, for 3 lifetimes, be reborn as a heavenly king like Shakra, enjoying extraordinary happiness. If they can dedicate their merit from these offerings to all beings in the Dharma realm, then that king will, for 10 lifetimes, be reborn as the great Brahma, the ruler of the heavens. Furthermore, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, in the future, if any king or even a Brahmin encounters a stupa or temple of a past Buddha, or finds scriptures or Buddha images that are damaged or falling apart, they can generate the intention to repair them. If that king personally takes action to repair it, or encourages others to join in, including inspiring 100,000 people to contribute and make offerings to create good connections, that king will, for hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, be a king of the Wheel of Dharma, Chakravarti king, and those who join in this offering will, for hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, become rulers of smaller kingdoms. If, in front of a stupa or temple, they also dedicate the merit from this offering to the path of supreme perfect enlightenment, then that king and all those involved in the offering will eventually become Buddhas. For the merits of such acts are vast, limitless, and immeasurable. Moreover, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, in the future, if any king or Brahmin encounters old, sick, or pregnant people, and within a single moment develops great compassion, offering them medicine, food, bedding, and making them comfortable, the merit from this is inconceivable. For 100 lifetimes, they will be born as the king of the pure abodes, Sukhavati, in heaven. For 200 lifetimes, they will reign as a king in the 6 realms of desire, never falling into the realms of suffering again. And for hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, they will never hear the sounds of suffering. Ultimately, they will attain Buddhahood. Additionally, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the future, any king or Brahmin who performs such acts of charity will gain immeasurable blessings. Moreover, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the future, if any person, whether a layman or laywoman, plants even a tiny bit of merit, like the size of a hair, a single strand, a grain of sand, or a speck of dust, the benefits that person will receive will be beyond comparison. Moreover, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the future, if any layman or laywoman encounters a Buddha image, a Bodhisattva image, a Bhikkhuni, Arhat image, or an image of a king of the Wheel of Dharma, Chakravarti king, and offers donations or worships it, they will receive immeasurable benefits and will often be born in the human realm or the heavenly realms, enjoying the highest and most supreme happiness. If that person can dedicate the merit from their offerings to all beings in the Dharma realm, their merit will be beyond any comparison. Moreover, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the future, if any layman or laywoman encounters the Mahayana Sutras, or hears a verse, or a single line of the sutras, and with deep devotion, respectfully praises, makes offerings, or performs charitable acts, they will reap immeasurable and boundless rewards. If they can dedicate their merit to all beings in the Dharma realm, the benefits of this act will also be beyond comparison. Moreover, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the future, if any layman or laywoman encounters a Buddhist temple, a stupa, or Mahayana sutras, if the temple or stupa is new, they should offer donations, make offerings, and respectfully bow with reverence. If they encounter old or damaged sutras or stupas, they should repair and restore them. Whether they personally make the effort or encourage others to do so, the merit accumulated is immense. Those who share in this effort will, for 30 generations, often become kings of small countries. The one who is the primary donor or supporter, by following the righteous path, will become a universal king, Chakravartin king, and will use the teachings of the Dharma to guide the rulers of smaller kingdoms. Moreover, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the future, if any layman or laywoman, through the merit they have accumulated in the Buddhist teachings, either by making donations, offering to repair temples and stupas, or restoring sutras, even to the extent of doing so with a single strand of hair, a speck of dust, a grain of sand, or a drop of water, the merit of such acts, regardless of their smallness or greatness, can be dedicated to all beings in the Dharma realm. This person will, for 1,000 lifetimes, enjoy supreme and unparalleled happiness. However, if they dedicate the merit only to their family or to themselves, they will experience happiness within 3 lifetimes, and for each act of merit, they will receive a reward 1,000-fold greater. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. These are the causes and conditions of the merit and the benefits gained through acts of generosity. Chapter 11. Earth Deities Protecting the Dharma. At that time, the earth deity, Qian Lao, respectfully addressed the Buddha, saying, "Blessed One, in the past, I have venerated and offered my respects to countless great bodhisattvas, all of whom possess immense wisdom and supernatural powers that are beyond comprehension, guiding all beings throughout the realms. However, compared to those bodhisattvas, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's vow is far deeper and broader. Blessed One, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva has a great connection with the beings in the realm of Jambudvapa, our world. Just like bodhisattvas such as Manjushri, Samantabhadra, Avalokiteshvara, and Mateya, who manifest hundreds of thousands of forms to guide beings in the 6 realms. The vows of these bodhisattvas eventually reach fulfillment. But Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's vow to save all beings in the 6 realms continues through eons, as many as the grains of sand in 100,000 million Ganges rivers. Blessed One, I observe that beings in the present and future, in the pure land of their southern realm, may build shrines or small dwellings made from earth, stone, bamboo, and wood. Within these places, they may paint and even mold statues of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva from gold, silver, copper, and iron. When incense is burned, offerings are made, and worship and praise are given. Those who engage in such practices will receive 10 benefits in the places they dwell. What are the 10 benefits? 1. The land becomes fertile and prosperous. 2. The household remains peaceful and secure forever. 3. The deceased are reborn in the realm of the heavens. 4. The living beings enjoy benefits and happiness. 5. All desires and wishes are fulfilled. 6. There are no disasters from water or fire. 7. The effects of deterioration and loss are eliminated. 8. Nightmares and bad dreams are dispelled. 9. There is divine protection when entering or leaving. 10. One will frequently encounter sages and virtuous people. Blessed One, for those beings in the future, as well as those living in the present, if they reside in their own land and can perform offerings to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva in such a manner, they will receive these benefits. The earth deity Qian Lao further addressed the Buddha. Blessed One, in the future, if any good man or good woman resides in their place and has this sutra and a statue of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, and if they read and recite this sutra while offering to the Bodhisattva's image, they will gain these benefits as well. The earth deity Qian Lao said, "Then I use my divine power to protect that person, and all disasters such as water, fire, theft, robbery, major and minor calamities, etc., will all be eradicated." The Buddha replied to Qian Lao, earth deity, "Your great divine power, few other deities possess such power as you do." Why is that? Because the land in the realm of Jambudvapa, our world, relies on your support, including all plants, grasses, stones, grains like millet, reed, rice, treasures, and everything that comes from the earth. All of these are supported by your divine power. Now you proclaim the benefits of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, and, as a result, your merits and divine powers will increase 100,000-fold beyond your usual capacity. To the earth deity, in the future, if any good man or woman offers to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and recites the sutra of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's original vow, if they practice even a single aspect of what is taught in the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva's original vow, sutra, you should use your divine power to support that person. Do not allow any harmful or disagreeable things to reach them, much less allow them to suffer. It is not only you who protect that person, but the family of Brahma, Indra, and the celestial deities will also support that person. Why do these great beings support them? It is because those people who venerate the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and recite the original vow sutra will naturally, in the end, be free from the ocean of suffering and attain the bliss of nirvana. Therefore, they are supported in a great and immeasurable way. Chapter 12. The Benefits of Seeing and Hearing. 1. The Buddha emits light and proclaims. At that time, from the crown of the Buddha's head, hundreds of thousands of millions of rays of light were emitted. These rays included rays of white light, rays of large white light, rays of auspicious light, rays of jewel light, rays of large jewel light, rays of purple light, rays of large purple light, rays of blue light, rays of large blue light, rays of azure light, rays of large azure light, rays of pink light, rays of large pink light, rays of green light, rays of large green light, rays of yellowish light, rays of large yellowish light, rays of auspicious cloud patterns, rays of large auspicious cloud patterns, rays of thousand circles, rays of large thousand circles, rays of jewel circles, rays of large jewel circles, rays of the sun, rays of the large sun, rays of the moon, rays of the large moon, rays of palace patterns, rays of large palace patterns, rays of sea clouds, rays of large sea clouds. After emitting such rays from the crown of his head, the Buddha spoke in a voice very subtle and said to the great assembly, "Hey, you all, from the 8 divisions of devas, dragons, humans, and non-humans, listen carefully. Today, I am in the heavenly realm of the Triyastrimsha, heaven of the 33, proclaiming and praising the inconceivable benefits for the heavenly beings and humans, the untold wonders, the acts leading to sainthood, the attainments of the 10 grounds, the final attainment of the unsurpassed, proper, and equal enlightenment of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva." Get then to Avalokiteshvara requests. When the Buddha finished speaking, in the assembly there was a great bodhisattva named Avalokiteshvara, who stood up from his seat, knelt, and with joined hands respectfully said to the Buddha, "Blessed Buddha, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva possesses great compassion. He shows great sympathy for the beings suffering from karma in countless worlds. He manifests infinite bodies and displays his countless merits and miraculous powers. I have heard that countless Buddhas in the past, present, and future all universally praise Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. And even though all the Buddhas speak of his merits, they still cannot fully describe them. Just now, the Buddha spoke to the assembly, expressing the intention to reveal the immeasurable benefits of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. I respectfully request that the Buddha, for the sake of all beings in the present and future, expound on the inconceivable deeds of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. so that the eightfold divisions of gods, dragons, etc. may all honor and venerate Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, thereby receiving great blessings. Chakachur 3. The Buddha praises and promises. The Buddha replied to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, "You have a great connection with the beings of this world, all the gods, dragons, and even beings suffering in the 6 realms. Whenever they hear your name, see your image, or think of you and praise you, will not fall away from the path to supreme enlightenment, and will always be born in the human and heavenly realms, enjoying great, wonderful happiness. When their karmic maturation comes, they will be granted the Buddha's prophecy. Now, you, with your great compassion, wish to help all beings and the eightfold divisions of gods, dragons, etc., wish to hear about the immeasurable benefits of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. You should listen carefully, as I will now speak." Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva respectfully replied, "Yes, blessed Buddha, I wish to hear." 4. Increased heavenly merit by seeing and hearing. The Buddha said to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, "In all the worlds, in the present and future, if a deity's heavenly merit has been exhausted and the 5 signs of deterioration appear in their body, or if they are about to fall into the evil realms, those deities, whether male or female, when they experience these signs of deterioration, if they see the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, or hear the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, and then once glance at the image and once prostrate before it, their heavenly merit will increase, and they will experience much more happiness, never again falling into the 3 evil realms. How much more so for those who, upon seeing the image of the Bodhisattva, hearing the name of the Bodhisattva, offer incense, flowers, clothing, food, precious objects, or prayer beads as offerings. These individuals will receive immeasurable and boundless merits and benefits. 5. Benefits for the sick. Furthermore, this is also the case, Avalokiteshvara, in all the worlds in the present and future, among the beings in the 6 realms. If someone is nearing death and hears even a single utterance of the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva passing through their ear, that person will not fall into the suffering of the 3 evil realms. How much more so if, at the time of their death, their parents and relatives use their wealth, homes, treasures, clothing, etc., to create or paint the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva for the dying person. When the sick person is still alive, and their eyes see, their ears hear that their family and relatives are offering their wealth and treasures to create the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. If the sick person has heavy karma leading to a serious illness, they will be cured by the merit of this offering, and their lifespan will be extended. If the sick person's karma was such that their life was already ending and they had enough karmic obstacles that would have led them to the evil realms, then, due to this merit, after their death, they will be reborn in the heavenly realm, or as a human, enjoying the highest and most wonderful joys, with all their karmic obstacles eliminated. 6. Heavenly blessings through sight and hearing. Moreover, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. In the future, if a man or woman, whether an infant being nursed, a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, or a 10-year-old, loses their siblings to death, When this person grows up and remembers their parents and relatives, but is uncertain where they have been reborn, or to which world, or to which heaven they may have ascended. If this person can paint the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, or at least hear his name, and once look at the image and once bow in reverence, from 1 day up to 7 days without losing their initial sincerity, by hearing the name, seeing the image, and making offerings. Then the deceased relatives of this person, if due to bad karma they had fallen into the evil realms and were supposed to endure it for many kalpas, will now be liberated by the merit of the offerings made to the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, and will be reborn in the heavens or as humans, enjoying supreme and wondrous happiness. If the deceased relatives of this person had good karma and had been reborn in the heavens, or as humans enjoying supreme and wonderful happiness, then, through this merit, their good karma will be increased, and they will enjoy infinite joy and continue to progress on the path of the saints. If the person can, within 21 days, focus on reverently bowing before the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and recite his name for a total of 10,000 times, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva will manifest infinite bodies to inform this person about the realm where their deceased relatives have been reborn. Or, in a dream, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, using his great spiritual power, will personally guide this person to the various realms to see their relatives. If this person continues to recite the Bodhisattva's name 1,000 times every day for 1,000 days, then Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva will send the local quasi-demons and spirits to protect this person throughout their life, ensuring they have sufficient food, clothing, and health, with no illness or suffering. Even disasters will never reach their door, much less harm their body. Ultimately, this person will receive the Bodhisattva's blessing and prediction of Buddhahood. 7. Aspiration for early attainment of the Great Vow. Furthermore, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. In the future, if a man or woman wishes to develop a vast heart of compassion to save all sentient beings, to practice the path to the ultimate enlightenment, and to escape the 3 realms, such a person, upon seeing the image and hearing the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, will wholeheartedly take refuge in him, offering incense, flowers, clothing, precious items, food, and so on for offerings, and bow in reverence. The aspiration of such a person will quickly be fulfilled without any obstacles. Moreover, Avalokiteshvara, in the future, if a man or woman desiring to fulfill hundreds of thousands of countless wishes in the present and future, simply by taking refuge in, revering, bowing to, offering, and praising the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, they will have all their wishes fulfilled and all their aspirations realized. Furthermore, they can pray to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, who will use his vast compassion to support them, and in their dreams, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva will appear, bestowing blessings and predictions upon them. 8. Wisdom. Furthermore, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. In the future, if any man or woman has great reverence for the Mahayana scriptures and makes an extraordinary vow to read and chant these scriptures, even though they encounter learned masters who guide them in studying, they might read and forget. And for months or even years, they may be unable to properly chant or study. Such persons, though well-intentioned, are hindered by unresolved karmic obstacles from previous lives, which obstruct their ability to engage with the Mahayana scriptures. However, these individuals, when they hear the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and sincerely offer their devotion using incense, flowers, clothing, food, and all their offerings to honor the image of the Bodhisattva, should place a bowl of pure water before the Bodhisattva's image for one day and one night, and then respectfully offer it to drink, facing south. When drinking the water, they should do so with utmost respect, and after drinking, they must abstain from the 5 pungent plants, alcohol, meat, sexual misconduct, false speech, and acts of killing for 7 days or 21 days. Such a man or woman, upon entering sleep, will dream of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, appearing in infinite forms and pouring water on their head. Upon waking, the person will be endowed with intelligence, and after hearing the Mahayana scriptures, they will remember them forever, never forgetting a single verse. Bini 9. Eliminating misfortunes. Furthermore, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. In the future, if anyone faces poverty, unfulfilled desires, or suffers from numerous illnesses and calamities, with their home in disarray and family members separated, or if they are constantly troubled by disasters and plagued by fear in their dreams, such persons, upon hearing the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and seeing his image, should sincerely and respectfully chant his name 10,000 times. Gradually, their misfortunes will be eradicated, and they will enjoy peace and happiness, with ample food and clothing. Even in their dreams, they will experience peace and joy. 10. Escape from danger. Furthermore, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. In the future, if any good man or good woman, whether for business, personal matters, for birth and death, or urgent tasks that require them to travel through forests or mountains, cross rivers or seas, encounter a great flood, or pass through dangerous roads, they should, before embarking on their journey, chant the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva 10,000 times. By doing so, wherever they go, they will be protected by various deities and spirits. Whether standing, sitting, lying down, they will always be at peace and joyful. Even if they encounter wild beasts like tigers, wolves, lions, all harmful creatures will not be able to harm them. The Buddha told Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva has a very great connection with the realm of Jambudvapa, our world. If we were to speak of the benefits that beings receive from seeing the image or hearing the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, even 100,000 eons of speech would not suffice to fully explain them. Therefore, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, you should use your divine power to spread this sutra so that beings in our world for countless eons may continue to receive peace and joy. At that point, the Buddha recited a verse. I observe the power of Ksitigarbha's might, difficult to describe through countless eons. Seeing, hearing, one thought of reverence. Heavenly and human beings benefit endlessly, whether dragons or gods, or men and women. If they are nearing the end, they will fall into the dark paths, sincerely taking refuge in the great Bodhisattva's form. Their lifespan will extend, and their evil deeds will be eradicated. Children who die and lose their mother and father, siblings and relatives, or those who have lost their kin, When they grow up and think of them, they do not know. The path of darkness, the path of light, where are they? Whether drawing or painting the image of the great Bodhisattva, out of compassion, offering their reverence without hesitation, for 21 days, continually chanting his name, the Bodhisattva will appear beside them, clearly telling them where their family is. Even if they have fallen into evil beasts, they will quickly be freed. If they do not waver from their respectful devotion, the Bodhisattva will give them his blessings and transmit his guidance, Bodhi Supreme, desiring to practice, aspiring to transcend the three realms, escaping birth and death. This person has awakened great compassion. First, they should reverently worship the image of the great Bodhisattva, hearing the name, taking refuge in the perfect one, offering respect with sincere devotion. Karmic obstacles will not hinder them. All their wishes will soon come to fruition. Some people vow to chant the scriptures, desiring to save sentient beings from calamities, even if they make vast vows beyond imagination. They still forget what they read and lose it all. This person's karmic obstacles confuse them. Studying the Mahayana scriptures becomes difficult in every way. Their clothing, food, and bedding are offered to Ksitigarbha with incense and flowers. They place a bowl of pure water in front of his image, and after 1 day and night, they drink it. With great reverence, abstaining from 5 pungent things: no alcohol, meat, illicit sex, or false speech. For 21 days, they must refrain from killing, wholeheartedly focusing on the name of the Supreme Being. They will dream of seeing his form, and when they wake, they will gain wisdom and sharpness. The Mahayana teachings heard through the ear. In countless lifetimes, they will remember without error. This is all due to the vast power of the great Bodhisattva, subtly helping them to acquire wisdom. Sentient beings who are poor, ill, facing disasters, with families torn apart. They sleep in troubled dreams, never at peace. Their wishes all fail. Nothing is achieved. If they sincerely worship the image of Ksitigarbha, all their evils will be eradicated immediately. Even in dreams, they will experience peace. Protected by spirits, their wealth will be abundant. If they wish to cross rivers, seas, or go into mountains, encountering poisonous beasts, robbers blocking their path, evil gods, evil spirits, storms, facing many uncountable dangers, before setting out, they should reverently offer to his image, worshiping and admiring it through mountains, forests, and seas. All dangers will vanish, bringing peace and joy. Avalokiteshvara listens carefully as I explain. The boundless, powerful blessings of Ksitigarbha, countless eons of tales cannot cover it all. He is the one with immense power. Anyone who hears the name of Ksitigarbha, sees his image and worships with full devotion, offering incense, food, clothing, they will be rewarded with countless blessings. If one can direct their merits to the entire Dharma realm, ultimately, they will become a Buddha, free from birth and death. Avalokiteshvara, you should know and persist in spreading, proclaiming this to all realms in the countless worlds. Chapter 13. Instructions for the salvation of humans and deities. The Buddha's instruction. At that moment, the Buddha raised his golden arm and gently patted the head of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, saying, Ksitigarbha, Ksitigarbha, your power is beyond conception. Your compassion is beyond conception. Your wisdom is beyond conception. Even if all the Buddhas of the 10 directions praise and proclaim your inconceivable qualities for countless eons, they would never come to an end. Ksitigarbha, Ksitigarbha. You should remember today, in the heavenly palace of the Triyastrimsha heaven, in this great assembly with hundreds of thousands of countless and inconceivable Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, deities, dragons, and the 8 divisions, I entrust to you once more all the beings who are still trapped in the burning house, not yet free from the 3 realms. Do not let them fall into the evil paths, even for a single day or night. How could you allow them to fall into the hell of 5 uninterrupted suffering, or the hell of Avasi, suffering for countless eons without ever being freed? Ksitigarbha, the nature of beings in the world of Jambudvapa is unstable. Most are accustomed to evil ways. Occasionally, some beings may generate good intentions, but soon after, they relapse, and their evil tendencies grow stronger. For this reason, I must transform my body into hundreds of thousands of billions to teach according to their faculties, to help them attain liberation. Kshatir, the Buddha's instruction. At that moment, the Buddha, with great compassion, entrusted all beings in the heavens and on earth to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. The Buddha said, Ksitigarbha, today I graciously place all the deities, humans, and beings under your care. In the future, if there are any gods, humans, or virtuous men and women who plant even a small seed of goodness in the Dharma, the size of a hair, a speck of dust, a grain of sand, or a drop of water, you should use your power and strength to support them, gradually helping them cultivate supreme virtue and preventing them from falling back. The Buddha continued, moreover, in the future, if there are any beings, due to their karma, condemned to the evil realms, and, as they approach the gates of hell, if they are able to recite the name of the Buddha, a Bodhisattva, or even a single verse from the Mahayana Sutras, you should use your power to save them. You should appear before them, break the gates of hell, and lead them to rebirth in the heavenly realms, where they will experience supreme bliss and joy. Then, the Buddha recited a verse. Now and in the future, for all in heaven and on earth, I graciously entrust them to you today. Use your great power to guide them with compassion. Do not let them fall into the evil realms. The Bodhisattva's reply. At that moment, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva bowed and respectfully said to the Buddha, Honored Buddha, please rest assured. In the future, if any virtuous men and women, upon hearing the teachings of the Buddha, have a single moment of reverence, I will use countless methods to help them, ensuring their swift liberation from the cycle of birth and death. How much more so for those who constantly practice virtuous deeds and continue on the path to supreme enlightenment, never turning back. The inquiry of Void Space Bodhisattva. After hearing this, a bodhisattva named Void Space asked the Buddha, Honored Buddha, since I have arrived in the Triyastrimsha heaven and heard the Buddha praise the inconceivable power and might of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, I have a question. In the future, if any virtuous men and women, or even any beings in the heavens or dragons, hear the Mahayana scriptures and hear the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and bow to the Bodhisattva's image, what kind of benefits will they receive? Please, Venerable Buddha, explain this for all beings, present and in the future. Shaten. 28 Benefits of the Dharma. The Buddha said to the Bodhisattva void space, "Listen carefully. I will explain this clearly for you. In the future, any virtuous man or woman who sees the image of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva and hears this sutra, or recites it, offers incense, flowers, food, drinks, clothing, or treasures, while praising and reverently bowing, will receive the following 28 benefits. 1. The gods and dragons will always protect and bless them. 2. Their good karmic rewards will increase day by day. 3. They will gather the highest beings of sainthood. 4. They will never fall back on the path to Bodhi. 5. They will have abundant food and clothing. 6. Diseases and ailments will not affect their body. 7. They will be free from disasters caused by fire and water. 8. They will not be harmed by thieves or robbers. 9. Others will view them with respect and reverence. 10. The gods and spirits will protect them. 11. In the next life, those born as women will be reborn as men. 12. In the next life, they will be born as daughters of kings or great ministers. 13. They will have a beautiful appearance. 14. They will often be born in the heavenly realms. 15. They may become kings or rulers. 16. They will possess wisdom and know the deeds of their past lives. 17. Whatever they wish will be granted. 18. Their family members will be at peace and happiness. Aun 27. Great compassion. 28. Ultimately attain Buddhahood. 5. 7 benefits. Furthermore, this is what the Bodhisattva Humkong Tang, void space, said. If, in the present and future, the gods, dragons, spirits, and beings hear the name of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, bow before his image, or hear about his original vows and practices, and praise him with reverence, they will receive 7 benefits. 1. Quickly attain the state of a saint. 2. Evil karma will be eradicated. 3. All Buddhas will come to support them. 4. They will never fall back from Bodhi. 5. Their inherent power will grow. 6. They will have clear knowledge of their past lives. 7. Ultimately, they will become Buddhas. 6. Great Assembly Praise. At that time, all the Buddhas and great Bodhisattvas, along with the 8 classes of beings from the 10 directions, gathered at the Dharma assembly. And when they heard Shakyamuni Buddha praise and expound upon the vast, unimaginable power of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, they all praised this as something unprecedented. Then, the heavenly beings of the Triyastrimsha, 33 heavens, showered an immeasurable amount of fragrant flowers, celestial robes, and jewel necklaces to offer to Shakyamuni Buddha and Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. Afterward, all the great assembly in the Dharma assembly again bowed, and with joined palms respectfully withdrew. The Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva Sutra. Volume 2, End. I dedicate this merit. I dedicate it to all sentient beings in the 10 directions and throughout the Dharma realms, repaying the 4 kinds of profound kindness and alleviating the suffering in the 3 lower realms. I pray for world peace, the cessation of disasters, and the happiness and well-being of all sentient beings. I dedicate it to all ancestral spirits and karmic creditors across countless lifetimes, all sentient beings who have been harmed or killed for any reason. Today, I sincerely repent and ask for forgiveness. I pray that all hatred be eradicated, that we protect each other, and that we all unite in chanting the Buddha's name with the shared aspiration for rebirth in the pure land. Together to be born in the Western paradise. I dedicate this merit. I dedicate it to all my relatives and ancestors across countless lifetimes, regardless of the realms they currently reside in. May they be touched by this dedication, develop the 3 minds of faith, aspiration, and practice, and be reborn in the Pure Land. I dedicate it to all my living relatives. May their karmic obstacles be cleared, their blessings grow, and may they develop faith, recite the Buddha's name, and aspire to be born in the Pure Land, achieving success in this endeavor. I dedicate it to all sentient beings, whether connected with me or not. May they all ultimately be reborn in the Western Pure Land. I dedicate it to the Western Pure Land of infinite splendor. I dedicate it for my final moments. I pray for Amitabha Buddha's blessings, for him to predict the time of my passing. May my mind remain clear and peaceful, and may I face death without obstacles. I also pray for Amitabha Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, Mahastamaprapta, and the Pure Land Oceanic Assembly, with their beautiful and radiant forms, to guide me to be reborn in the Western Pure Land. I pray for the lotus to bloom and see the Buddha, realizing the unborn, and for me to attain supreme Buddhahood, guiding infinite sentient beings in the 10 directions of the Dharma realms to be reborn in the Western Pure Land and complete the Buddha's path. Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Great Vow Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, Namo Great Vow Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, Namo Great Vow Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. I take refuge in the Buddha. I pray that all sentient beings may understand the Great Tao and develop the Supreme Mind. One vow. I take refuge in the Dharma. I pray that all sentient beings may deeply enter the sutras and have wisdom as vast as the ocean. One vow. I take refuge in the Sangha. I pray that all sentient beings may unite the great assembly and have no obstruction. 5 bows with 3 prostrations.